A buddy of mine was talking to me the other day about how we walk around pretending like we're living in the same world. Like there's this one shared reality, one agreed upon thing that we're all looking at. Like some giant TV screen in the sky. And if we just argue long enough, if we just yell loud enough, if we just quote enough experts, eventually we'll all see the same thing and go, "Ah, yes, this is it. Reality. TM. Settled. Done! Great job, everyone!" But that's not how it feels to me. To me, it feels like every single person is walking around inside their own private universe, their own atmosphere, their own gravity, their own laws of physics made out of childhood and trauma, and this is how it is, and in this house we don't talk about that, and God said so, and all the little invisible rules that never got written down but somehow still run the place. And I notice it the most when I go into people's homes, because that's when you really step into it. They invite me in to fix a floor or patch a wall or do whatever, but what it actually feels like is they've opened an airlock and let me onto their ship. I'm in their universe now. The smell of home, their way of stacking the dishes, their pattern of apologizing for everything, their tension, their weird comfort, their rules about the shoes, their whole emotional weather system. And the second I cross that threshold, I'm not just me anymore. I become something in their universe. I become a caricature. Sometimes I feel like I'm playing the role of a son somebody doesn't have anymore. Sometimes it feels like I'm the brother they wish that would come visit more often. Sometimes I'm the safe man they never had growing up. Every once in a while, I slip into the parent role for somebody older than me, because emotionally they're still stuck at 12, explaining themselves like a kid who's afraid of getting in trouble. You can feel it. You can feel when someone is talking to you, but the person they're actually talking to lives about 20 years ago. And I walk in and I can see the loop running. They're stuck explaining, justifying, apologizing, minimizing, because nobody in their universe ever stepped up and said, "Hey, you don't have to do that right now. I see you. You're allowed to exist without explaining your every breath." So sometimes, without really planning to, I just step into their parent role. Not like, "Let me fix you, child." More like, "Yeah, I got you. It's okay. You're not in trouble here. You're safe for a minute." And that's when it really hits me. We're not walking through one shared reality. We're traveling between universes. My body is like this little spaceship. I pilot it around, docking at different people's worlds. I go in, I live in their reality for a few hours, I play my part, and I absorb that atmosphere. And then I detach and go home to mine. The wild thing is, we all do this. You go to work, different universe. Your parents' house, different universe. Your ex's house, whole different galaxy, man. We pretend it's all the same world, but it's not. It's a multiverse made of people. Now, let me bring in this picture that's been sitting in my head for a while. Imagine this. You and your dad are standing in a parking lot full of light poles, okay? Just big metal poles stretching down the line. 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way out. But your dad, he's pressed right up against just one of them. His face is basically touching it, hands on it, and he's going, "Oh, this pole right here. This is the best pole. This is the only pole. This is the most beautiful, perfect, holy pole that has ever existed. Nothing else like it. Nothing will ever be. This is the pole. You know, we should worship this pole, build our lives around this pole, tell our children to love this pole." And he's not joking. He's dead serious. From where he's standing, all he can see is metal, up and down, one line. That's his whole world. Now you're not pressed up against it. You're standing a little bit off to the side, maybe right next to him, maybe just behind him. You can see the exact same pole he's talking about. You can see what he loves about it, the shape, the sturdiness, the way the light hits it. But because you took one step to the side, you can also see there are like 20 more of these things. And so you're just standing there like, oh, yo, dad, buddy, man, I love you, but there's more, man. Like, there's a whole line. You don't even have to let go of this one if you don't want to, but just maybe if you move your cheek off of the metal for 2 seconds and look around. And from his universe, that sounds like blasphemy. How dare you suggest there might be another pole? Are you calling this pole not enough? Are you saying I've been wrong my whole life? No, man, I'm not saying your pole sucks. I'm just saying it's not the only thing in the parking lot. I mean, that's what perspective is like. It's not that you're right and he's wrong. It's that you're standing in different spots. You took half a step. You didn't get a PhD in poleology. You just loosened your feet and shifted your weight, and suddenly you can see past the one thing you were raised to stare at. And a lot of us were taught, nope, this is the pole. Don't you dare look around it. Now, here is where it gets interesting, because it's easy to say, oh, just move, just change your perspective, just think differently, man. Expand your mind, bro. Yeah, cool. But if it was that easy, everybody would have done it already. So I started to wonder, what if the reason that some people can't step away from their one pole, their one universe, their one way of seeing things, is because their body literally won't let them? Like, imagine your whole body as a tuning fork. The vagus nerve, all the wiring running from your brain down through your chest and your gut, woven into your organs and your breath and your heart rate. What if that's the main rod of the tuning fork? And your muscles, your fascia, your posture, that's the space around it. Now, if you've ever held a real tuning fork, you know what happens. You strike it, it rings, it sings beautiful, clear tone. But then if you grab it in your fist or you wrap it in a towel, the vibration gets muffled. The sound dies down. It's not that the fork stopped being able to be a tuning fork, it's that it can't ring anymore. That's what trauma and chronic tension feel like to me. When your shoulders are clenched, your jaw is locked, your gut is tight, and your chest is bound. That rod in the middle of you can't really vibrate. You still technically do have a tuning fork. You still technically have a nervous system, but it's wrapped in a towel of old shit you never got to feel all the way through. So someone says, just open your mind. And your body's like, bro, I can't even open my ribs. You want me to expand my worldview? When there's tightness, when the fascia is stuck, when your body is holding on to something it couldn't let go of back then, it's like your tuning fork is constantly being touched, constantly being dampened. So the signal that does get through, it's dull, it's narrow, it's predictable. Of course you cling to one pole. That's the only one that hums at your frequency. And then think about what happens when something finally releases. You stretch a certain way, your breath goes a certain direction. You cry in a way that you didn't know that your body could cry. You shake, you laugh, you make some weird animal noise you didn't rehearse. And afterward, the world feels a little bit different. Colors are a little bit sharper. Sound is a little bit crisper. You're not as hooked by the same old story. Nothing out there changed. What changed was the towel around your tuning fork. Something loosened, the vibration opened up a bit. Suddenly, your body can ring at more than one note. And if your body is what you use to stand inside of this reality, then changing how it rings changes what you can even perceive as possible. That's why some people literally can't see past their one pole yet. Not because they're idiots, not because they're evil, because their tuning fork is still wrapped. Now, this leads me into another rabbit hole I've been falling down. We talk about consciousness like we know what it is. Like it's this thing inside of our skull, and science is going to crack it open one day like a walnut and be like, ah, yes, here it is, the consciousness gland right next to the appendix. Mystery solved. But look at how all our other senses work. Your eyes, they don't show you reality. They show you one tiny slice of the electromagnetic spectrum. We call that visible light. There is a whole universe of infrared, ultraviolet, X-rays, radio waves buzzing around us at all time. And your eyes are like, yeah, I don't do those, man. I'm strictly a little rainbow band contractor. You're gonna have to talk to somebody else about that. Your ears, same deal. They can only pick up on a narrow band of vibrations. Too low, you can't hear it. Too high? You can't hear it. Bats are out there basically screaming sonar novels at each other, and you and I are just walking around like, nice quiet night, man. Touch? Well, we like to think, oh, I'm touching this table. But in reality, your hand is just feeling the electromagnetic resistance between your skin and the table's molecules. Your nerves get that signal, send it to your brain, and your brain goes, let's just call this wood and call it a day. So every single sense that we have is giving us a partial feed, a cropped, filtered version of what is actually going on. Why would consciousness be any different? What if what we call being conscious is just one little band on the consciousness spectrum, like visible awareness? And there could be whole other ranges of consciousness, infrared states of being, ultraviolet modes of awareness, massive oceans of experience that our little 3-pound brain just shrugs at and goes, yeah, not built for that. Good luck. So when I say I feel like we have a sense for consciousness, I don't mean I know what it is or how it works. I'm not out here trying to write a textbook. I'm just looking at the pattern. Every other sense is limited translator for something bigger. So what if this I am feeling, this awareness is just the part of the consciousness field we happen to be wired to pick up? So then you take that and you stack that on top of the tuning fork idea. So if your tuning fork is wrapped in a towel of tension and trauma, and your consciousness sensor is already only picking up on a narrow slice of the signal, then of course you think you're the one light pole in this whole damn universe. You're only getting part of the spectrum through a muffled instrument in someone else's parking lot. Now, I want to land this thing somewhere really simple, because it's one thing to talk about the universe and tuning forks and consciousness spectrums, but all that stays kind of abstract until it hits your actual life. So let me bring it down to something stupidly practical. Your name. On the day you were born, they gave you a birthday present. Not a toy, not a blanket, a label, a sound, a word, something someone else made up and wrapped around you like a tag on a gift. You didn't pick it. You didn't see the list of options. Nobody was like, oh, hey, little newborn, how does this one feel in your mouth? They just said, this is you now. This is who you are. And then, as you grew, they printed that name on everything. School records, medical files, tax forms, court papers, church rosters, credit reports. They took pictures of your face, flattened it, put it on a little piece of plastic with that name on it, and said, this is you. This is the official you. This rectangle has more authority than your actual living body. I mean, never mind the fact that those eyes on the card can't see anything. Those ears on the card can't hear anything. That mouth on the card can't speak a single word in your defense. But if what's on your card doesn't match what's in the system, they act like you don't exist. Try telling someone in office, hey, I'm not that name. That's just my birthday present. That's the tag they hung on me when I showed up. I'm the one inside the skin, not the letters on the screen. They look at you like you're crazy. Because we've been trained to worship the present, to bow to the tag, to identify as the fucking gift wrapping. And for me, this isn't just a cute metaphor. This is spiritual. I genuinely believe that I have the right as a human, as a soul, as whatever word you like to say, I am not my birthday present. I am not the name that you handed me. I am not the ID card. I am not the file. I am not the poll you pushed in my face against me. I am not the one universe you told me I was allowed to live in. That doesn't mean I never use them. I mean, I still have to function in this weird paperwork-based society, right? But spiritually, religiously, I refuse to confuse the gift with the giver, the tag with the being, the sticker with the consciousness behind it. If there is such a thing as freedom of religion, then I claim the freedom not to worship my own label. So let me try and loop all of this together. Every person you meet is a universe. You dock your little spaceship body at their airlock and walk around in their gravity for a little while. Some of them are pressed up against a pole, convinced it's the only one. Some of them can see a few more down the line. Some of them, every once in a while, step back and go, holy shit, this is a whole grid. The difference isn't who's smarter, it's whose tuning fork is allowed to ring. Tension, trauma, old stories. They muffle the instrument. They narrow the station you can tune into. Meanwhile, consciousness itself may be way bigger than we've ever experienced. And we're just picking up on one skinny little band of it, like a cheap radio with only 2 working channels. And over all of that, the system hands you a birthday present and they say, here is your name. This is your identity. This is the official container for your existence. Please sign here, here, and here. And we're told, be this, only this, defend this, die for this. But if you step back just a little and you feel into your own body, unmuffling the tuning fork, releasing the old tightness, and you taste, even for just a second, how big your actual awareness is, then the idea that you could be reduced to the letters on a card, or the one pole, or the one universe, starts to feel ridiculous. So this is my little sermon, I guess. You are not your birthday present. You are not your light pole. You are not just the universe that you grew up in. You are not the towel wrapped around your tuning fork. You are the one who can move, who can step to the side, who can let the fork ring again, who can visit other universes and come back with new eyes. You are the one who can choose whether to keep worshiping the tag or to start honoring the living, breathing, untidy, expansive consciousness that's been here the whole time, wearing that name-like wrapping paper. Hey, thanks for watching. Follow, subscribe, like, and keep coming back, man. Leave me a comment.